All right. Hi, 8th grade. So today we are doing 9.6, factoring using the square root property. And if you're following along with me, I am on page 511. If you want to pause it, it's up to you and get out your book. I'm going to be doing example 4. There's 3 of them just in example 4, 3 different types. All right, so the square root property states that x squared, if I know that x squared is equal to 9, that means, so if I want to know just what x is, I could take the square root and the square root. So the square root of x squared would just be x. The square root of 9. Now, probably everyone is automatically hoping that you know that that's 3, but it also could be -3, and here's why. Because I know that 3 times 3 equals 9, but I also know that -3 times -3 is +9. So therefore, when we are taking the square root of 9, it could be positive or -3. So if we don't know what x is, it could be plus or minus. So here we go. Example 1. A plus 4 squared is equal to 49. So I'm trying to solve for A. So what I want to do is when I look at this, I see that both of them are perfect squares. So up here, when I wanted to find out what just x was, I took the square root of both of them. So that's what I'm going to do here. It's the same thing, just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to take the square root of this and the square root of this. So when I do that, this is just going to be a plus 4. And this, the square root of 49, is plus or minus 7. So just like here, when you have this, when something is squared and you take the square root of it, it's just the regular x. So I had a plus 4 squared. So when I took the square root of that, it was just a plus 4. And just like up here, when we took the square root of 9, it's plus or minus 3. When we take the square root of 49, it's plus or minus 7. So now we just have a couple more steps. So now, since we're solving for a, we would subtract 4 from both sides. So you're left with a is equal. Now this is important. Now, people can do it their own way, but I only would suggest doing it this way. That when we are doing this, I want you to write this number first. -4 plus minus 7. Excuse me for just a second, let me fix that. All right, so all I did here was I moved my -4 over. And normally we would just add it to the number, but because this could be plus 7 or it could be minus 7, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do -4 plus 7, which is equal to 3. And I'm going to do -4 minus 7, which is equal to -11. And that is your answer. And so if you were to plug those in and try it, it will work. So I'm going to plug that in really quick to prove my point. So the original was a plus 4 is equal to 49. So if I plug in 3 plus 4, 7 squared is equal to 49, and that's true. And then if I plugged in -11, -11 plus 4, so that would be, did I plug that in right? Oh, the squared. So it's -7 squared is equal to 49. 7 times 7 is 49. Square square root of 9 is 49. I was going kind of fast, but you can see my point when I plugged in the negative 11 plus 4, it equaled negative 7 squared. Negative 7 times negative 7 is equal to positive 49. So they do, in fact, equal. You don't have to solve to check. I'm just proving my point. So now I'm going to give you one, just like we do in normal class. So yours is going to be x minus 7 squared is equal to 36. So pause it, try it out on your own, see if you can do it. I will continue working it out. So I take the square root, I take the square root. And so that just leaves me with x minus 7, and that leaves me with plus or minus 6. Since that's a minus 7, I add 7 to both sides. And like I said, whatever you move, I want you to write that first. So I have 7 plus 6 is equal to 13. And then I have 7 minus 6 is equal to 1. And that is my answer, 13 and 1. All right, next one, example 3. Now this one, what was nice about the one we just did is that it was already factored for us. It was already in that parentheses form. On this next one, it's not. Y squared minus 4y plus 4 is equal to 25. So hopefully you've gotten comfortable with perfect square trinomials and or getting comfortable with perfect square trinomials and knowing them when you see them. So this is a perfect square trinomial because this is a perfect square. I can split apart y. This is a perfect square. I can take the square root of 4 and make it 2. And then if you want to know, remember you take this, the square root of this, which is y, the square root of this, which is 2y, and double it, it equals 4y. So all you have to do then is take the square root of y, you take the square root of y squared, so just split apart the y, split apart the 4. Whatever this is, that's the sign that goes in the middle. So take the square root of y squared, take the square root of 4, and whatever that sign that is, that goes in the middle. So now it looks just like what we did in the previous two. Oops, excuse me. Take the square root, take the square root, so you have y minus 2 is equal to plus or minus 5. Since that's a minus 2, we add 2 to we add 2 to both sides. So y is equal to 2 plus minus 5. So that's 2 plus 5 is equal to 7, and 2 minus 5 is equal to negative 3. All right, again, your next one. Again, you can pause it. And I'm going to keep working it out. Here we go. So again, this is a perfect square. This is a perfect square. Since that's a plus, I put a plus, put a square in there. That's it. You just take the square root of each one and bring that sign down. Now we take the square root, We have y plus 6, the square root of 100 is 10. Oops, can y'all find my mistake? I should write plus minus 10. So this time it's a positive 6, so I subtract 6 from both sides. I'm running out of room here. Y is equal to negative 6 plus or minus 10. So negative 6 plus 10 is equal to 4. Negative 6 minus 10 is equal to negative 16. Hopefully that's what you got. All right. That is it, actually. The last two, I'm going to go ahead and do those for you. It's not going to be on your homework, but it's pretty easy. We'll just try it out just for the heck of it. So example 5, x minus 3 squared is equal to 5. So you can probably see the difference in this one in that x minus 3 is a perfect square, but 5 is not. So we take the square root. We're still going to treat it the same though. We take the square root of this and we take the square root of this. So we have x minus 3 that just comes out of the radical sign. But this, since it's not a perfect square, we leave it as plus minus the square root of 5. So we add 3 to both sides. This is kind of like combining like terms. Because this is a number and this is a radical, they can't be combined. That's like saying 3 plus x. 3 plus x you can't combine. They're unlike terms. So this is a radical. Since it's not a whole number or a number, you can't add them together. So that would be your answer. You just leave it like that. But that's not on your homework. I just kind of wanted to expose you to it. So your homework is page 513. 43 through 50. Take a picture and submit it on to Schoology. All right. Write me or message me if you need any help.